Hi conservation crew, and welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're doing a nature diaries because we're in the beautiful forest of Dean. Now this is somewhere that me and Stu have wanted to come to for a really long time. We're in the England side, we haven't crossed over to Wales, but we've always wanted to come here because it's a great spot for rewilding species, and there's been a couple of species already rewilded here, such as wild boar and pine martens. So we're really hoping to see wild boar at least. If not, you never know, we might be lucky enough to see some pine martens, but they're super hard to spot. But today we're just walking straight off our campsite, which is called Bracelands. It's a Forest of England's campsite, so it's right on the edge of the forest, and we're just going to have a little walk down to the Wye River and hopefully see some boar. Now we've seen loads of signs, tracks, evidence of them in the area. There's like warning signs on the gates, make sure the gate is shut because they'll come in and they could rummage through your rubbish bins or whatever. But they're definitely here. We've seen rooting, signs of wallowing, etc. So we're really hopeful that we might see some and be able to film them for you guys. So if you want to see some wild boar, come along with us. If you want to learn more about wild boar, click up here and learn with us.
So we've been looking for signs of wild boar, and we've come across an old area which has really been rooted. So we've seen signs of footprints, and we'll get some close-ups of footprints later, better ones, so you can see them. But where the boar have turned over the soil, you can see how it's benefiting the ecosystem. So without the boar, you might just get a blanket of something like bracken dominating an area, where in this area, of course, there's still bracken, but we're starting to see lots of other plants and saplings and so on. So it's really great that the boars have had an influence on the ecosystem, churned the soil over, shed seeds across the forest, and we're sort of seeing the benefit in these small patches. So we just found a great area where the wild boar have been rooting round. We found lots of footprints, and we'll show you some close-ups again. But here this is quite fresh, so there's lots of roots that have been chewed, so the boar have really been digging in, and you can see it's quite a vast area where they've been occupying. So it looks like they've been coming out the forest, having a good forage and root round there, eating anything tasty, and then just disappearing again. So it's a great sight, and it shows that we're on the track.
So you can see here there's lots more rooting, so these really big patches of turned over soil where the boar have been using their snouts to rummage for roots and anything tasty.
So boars have a very muscular nose, so when they're actually foraging they'll be lifting the turf up rather than like chewing through it. And here's a classic example we've come across on the path. So this was lifted up, so the pig would be having a little root under here around. You can see it's chewed through the roots, but ultimately it'll be looking for anything with that extra bit of energy, so any worms, any nuts and so on. But again, here we've had a nibble on the shoots, and you can just see how the ground's been lifted up. You can just place it back down like that, and you can see how it's almost perfect. That nose will come under, root around and find anything tasty. Sort of ironic really, because we're on the track and the trail of wild boars, which obviously used to be native here, and they no longer are native. I was lucky enough to see one this morning, but I didn't have any equipment with me. But just walking around the woods, we've seen lots of grey squirrels, we've seen munchat deer, and we've just seen a fallow deer run out in front of us. And all these are non-native animals, yet it's the wild boar coming back which seems to be causing a lot of the problem, rather than these perhaps well-established alien species or non-native species. So it's definitely food for thought, because we often think the boar shouldn't be here, when actually, ecologically speaking, and in my opinion, it should be here, it belongs here. Perhaps we need to re-establish forests to support it. We do need to manage any conflicts with people, but And it's just sort of funny how all the other species we're seeing are actually invasive species, and we're not seeing many native mammals at all. But hopefully we'll come across them native but classed as non-native boars.
So just been walking down the path towards the Y, and we've come across this sign, and it says that we've just entered Lady Park Wood. And it also says that this Lady Park Wood area has been covered in trees, or mostly covered in trees, since the Ice Age. So it's a real ancient woodland. If trees could talk, who knows what they could tell us. But it's nice, because ancient woodlands are so rare in the UK now. It's nice to actually be in one. Look at this absolute beauty that I've just found on the floor. So it's a caterpillar, and I'm assuming that it's some kind of hawkmoth, because it's absolutely huge. But look at this blue spine on the top. Hi conservation crew! So we're still in the Forest of Dean, and today we've come to a place called Puzzle Wood. Now this is an ancient woodland, and it's really popular as a movie set. So there's a scene of stormtroopers that have been filmed here for Star Wars, and it's also the inspiration behind Middle Earth, as J.R.R. Tolkien used to visit here a lot. And basically it's a beautiful woodland, and we're going to explore it, so come along with us. Hi conservation crew, so we've changed location, so it's a couple of days later, and today we are at a place called Cannock Pond. So we're still in the Forest of Dean, we're exploring a beautiful pond area, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And so far I've already seen some really incredible dragonflies. I want to say emperor dragonflies and some damselflies, so I'll try and identify what I can, I'll try and film what I can. There's obviously going to be a lot of bird life here because of the water, so come along with us and enjoy this next section of our Forest of Dean Nature Diaries. I've been finding these little beetles absolutely everywhere. So cute. This place is proving to be very fruitful already for wildlife. So like I said before, we've seen quite a few species of damsel and dragonfly, and we've seen a load of waterfowl. So there's swans here, mallard ducks, there's a couple of other ducks that we need to identify, but they're all just enjoying a bit of sunshine. There's a lovely dead tree that's fallen into the water and supplied a really lovely perching place for the ducks, so they can prune and keep their feathers really healthy. I can see coots on the river now, so let's see if I can get them on film. So even here we're coming across a lot of signs of wild boar. So you can see here they've been digging and rooting with their snouts, looking for roots and tasty morsels. So wild boar are very much established in the Forest of Dean. Now, one of our most popular videos on here is actually about wild boar, and I'm going to link it up here, so have a look at that and let us know what you think. Do you think that they're a problem, or do you think that, you know, they're native here, they were once here before, they should be here, they're an integral part of the ecosystem? And also let me know, have you ever come across a wild boar? Have you seen them? We haven't been fortunate enough to see any yet, but we are still trying. Fingers crossed before we go home we will see them. But let us know, have you seen them yourself? And what was your experience like? I'm lying, Stu saw one, but I didn't, so I'm not classing that as a sighting because I didn't see it with my own eyes, but still, answer those questions for me. So you can see here, guys, shortly after we saw the sign about not feeding the boar and some footprints, we've got really fresh rooting. So they've been here this morning likely, and there's definitely more than one because this rooting area is huge. More evidence, so you can see there's a track of rooting, a movement that goes from the path all the way down to this lovely sloppy mud where they'll wallow to cool down and keep their skin clean. So we have here a freshwater mussel. I found it in the water like this and I couldn't resist dragging it out of the water to have a look at it. They're absolutely huge bivalves. They're beautiful pearlescent insides. Don't know what's eaten it, but it's scraped it out clean. Could be an otter, maybe. Amazing. Now we just found this feces on the floor. Now Stu's poked it with a stick to try and work out who's created it, but it smells very fishy and it's got a tapered end. Now, we don't think it's an otter because otters' feces are supposed to smell like jasmine tea. Now, we can't be sure until we positively ID it online, but we suspect it might be an American mink, which is obviously an invasive species in the UK. But once we've ID'd it, I'm going to put the name of the species on the screen now. Okay guys, so we've moved location now. We've driven to Lydney and we're at Lydney Harbour. So we're going to explore and see if we can find any wildlife by the water. So we just had a coffee and now we're walking, we've crossed over the canal and now we're by the River Severn. And there's hundreds of Canada geese down there, honking away. Good morning. So it's our last day in the Forest of Dean. We've got to go today. We tried to get another night, but they are fully booked because of the bank holiday weekend. So we've got up at 6 o'clock and we're on a walk in the local area, just straight off the campsite, trying to find some boar, because they usually forage at dusk and dawn. So fingers crossed we'll have some footage to share with you soon. So we just found these really fresh rooting. So we're trying to follow it and go in here and see what we can find. We can hear rustling, but it's quite a big animal. We're sure that there is a boar up there. So we're going to wait down here and hopefully it will show itself. So we've still not found any actual wild boar yet, but we have found these tracks which are really fresh, going up this bank. So we've been tracking them for about an hour now, and we're walking towards the kind of cut route back up to the campsite that we walked on the other day that was full of tracks. We keep hearing like boar-like rustling, but then they're not showing themselves, which is really frustrating. Just seen two fallow deer up in the trees there, but they're too far away for me to film. So there is life still out and about this morning. Please bring us a wild boar. Now, I don't want to get too excited, but I think I just saw a pine marten. So we heard lots of rustling, and then loads of squirrel alarm calls, and I saw come down from the tree a fairly big, like medium-sized mammal, brown, long, and I can only think that it's a mustelid, and because we're in the Forest of Dean and it was coming down from a tree, it might have been raiding a nest, raiding a squirrel tray. So I'm like, it's hard because I don't have any footage, any photo, and I'll never know for sure, but I really want to believe that was a pine marten. All the signs say so. It's all happening this morning. We've just seen a fox, but these things are like, I'm really annoyed, like I can't catch them on camera because it just happens so quickly. There's no time to get the camera out. So I've seen a fox, fallow deer, and potentially a pine marten. Pretty good morning so far. Well guys, we didn't find any wild boar this morning, but we found so many tracks and signs of them, and potentially saw a pine marten, saw a deer and a fox. So that's all on just an hour's walk, and obviously loads of squirrels and birds. So it's a really, really rich area. We're definitely going to come back. We're going to come back armed with camera traps, set them up around the place, and hopefully we'll get them. I'm sorry that I didn't get any footage of any wild boar for you guys on this video, but I hope you enjoyed the beautiful scenery that we enjoyed and some of the other animals that I found. I'll input. Like the video if you enjoyed it. It really helps us, gives us a boost. Make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a Nature Diaries or Conservation Chat UK video, and I'll see you in the next one.